Hi, welcome to my channel, Life of Yawna. So today I'm going to do some more beading bracelets. And I chose this design here because I think it's so cool. Oops, I can't even focus here. Here we are. I don't know if you could see it. Look how cool that is. All these wonderful designs on there. Look at that. And I'm going to pair it with these. Looks so pretty. So today I'm going to talk about that fire in New Mexico. I think they're calling it Hermes or Peak. I'm not sure what I know it's called Hermes Fire, and the calf canyon fire or something like that. So the reason why I want to talk about that is because, believe it or not, I did live in that area when I was a kid growing up. I would say between the ages of 12 and 18. And my mom and dad had divorced. We were living in Utah. And when they divorced, my mom moved to New Mexico because that's where her parents were, my grandfather and grandma. So we all moved to right there, a little town by Cleveland, New Mexico called Chacon. And that's where we moved. And we went to school in Mora. So I am very familiar with that area. I have a brother that still lives there. He had to evacuate. So right now he's staying in a shelter in Las Vegas, New Mexico. And thank goodness they let the residents take their pets, their animals with them. Of course, not the big animals like no horses or sheep or goats or whatever, but like your pet animals like cats and dogs and maybe your fish and stuff. So my brother was able to take his dog, Cooper. So they're staying in a shelter in Las Vegas. And he says they're being treated real well. And, he's just glad that he evacuated. So, also I have cousins and an aunt that lives there. They're also evacuated. They went to Las Vegas too. But one of my cousins' husbands, he decided to stay in Chacon because apparently they have animals, like some chickens and goat and cows, and so he didn't want them to starve. So him and a few of the other guys are staying in that area. But they were told that they're staying there at their own risk because if the fire does spread to Chacon, there's no way that they can be rescued because it's already very difficult fire. It's out of control. So they're well aware of the risks. There's only one way in and one way out of Chacon, and that's through the road 518. You have to go through Holman, and that's it. There's only one way in, one way out, unless you by chance have like a back road vehicle or something that you could ride through the mountains. But that's a regular car or even a regular truck can't handle that. You would have to have four-wheel drive and everything to be able to, traverse the area because it's very rough, very, full of ravines and stuff, mountainous. So it's not easy to go the back way around the mountain. I'm sure there's roads there because of the lumber trucks and stuff, but those are lumber roads, or there's trails there too that the animals make. So I'm hoping that everybody there is safe. There was a time, I don't know if it's still true, that they didn't have any water. So some of the ranchers there and the neighbors got together and made sure everybody had some water. And as far as electricity goes, I don't know if it's still on or not. I really don't know because I talked to my cousin, but I didn't ask her that question. So they may have electricity, they may not. So it's very dangerous over there. I'm praying for all the people there. I do know some people, in that area still, though I have not lived there since I moved away at 18 when I joined the military. I've never lived there again. But it is rural area, very rural. As a matter of fact, the road going up to my mom's property, she has property there now too, and my grandparents' property, it's unpaved. It's dirt roads, so it's way up in the hills. So I feel bad for the people there. There's some people that have lost their homes. I mean, it's everything they had. This is also a very poor community. A lot of the people there are retired ranchers. They're just retired and just live, on their like Social Security, disability, or what other income they may have. So they don't have a lot of money. This community is not wealthy, and it's hard to see them crying in the TV and on the news, and they're losing their stuff, and that's it. That's all they have. A lot of the people don't have their homes under insurance, so if it burns up, that's it. There's nothing they can file to get a claim going. There's just nothing. They just lose it all. And so we're just keeping our prayers for them. And let me tell you how rural that area is. So as I was saying, I lived in Chacon and, graduated high school in Mora. And we had to catch a bus. We had to walk down like a little, just a little, down a hill is what it was. We had to walk down the hill because the bus, wouldn't go all the way up to where we lived. So it would stop there at the river where the road forked. And we would have to walk down the hill, wait for the bus by the river, and then hope it comes in bad weather. A lot of times it didn't come because of the snow drifts. It was hard. It was hard life. It was a very hard life living there. Plus we were city kids coming from Salt Lake City, Utah. So we were like all in culture shock because we weren't used to this type of living, and living in a rural area. We were city kids. There's, me and my sisters and my brother. But my brother still lives there, so he's very countrified. He's used to the country. But me and my sisters, it was very difficult for us. And then it was just hard. Let me just stop right there and say it's hard. I don't want to say anything else. But, I've never lived back there again after the military. I mean, I've always been self-sustaining since I was in the military. And then I was in the military, and then I left the military. But I've always been self-sufficient, self-sustaining. So I never moved back home. Even when I got divorced, my mom says, "Come back. You can live here. You could go to school in Las Vegas at Highlands Ranch or the University of New Mexico." But I said, "No, Ma. I don't want to go back there." And it's like the people there have a different mindset from city folks because it's a lot slower and they're used to their own routine. So the city folks are different. They're used to more faster paced life. And, being able to go to the store, that you want to go to, if you want to go to the mall or, to some other store, you could go there, but not in this area. There's a little country store in Mora, but anything else you want, like if you need to buy clothes or anything like that, you have to go to Las Vegas, or you have to go up the mountain towards Taos. They're both the same distance, about 50 miles. So, but getting back, so the bus, if it came, we would take the bus ride, but the bus was a long bus ride for us. It was 30 miles to school one way, and then you'd catch the bus back 30 miles back home. So we lived way up there. And so, you know, the property is still way, way up there in the boonies, up in the mountains. So hopefully the fire won't go that far. My aunt and cousin live about 3 miles from us. So, you know, we're all hoping that the fire doesn't spread that way. And, you know, this is the cousin whose husband stayed behind to make sure that the cattle was fed and watered and not going to sit there and, you know, just starve. So also they have the road closed there. They won't let you back in that area. If you evacuate it, they will not let you back in. So once you leave, that's it. Once you leave, you know, you can't go back in. So I know my cousin's worried about her husband, but, you know, they have the cell phones. But cell phone is not, sometimes you get through, sometimes you don't. You know, the towers are burning up and stuff, so it's hard to communicate with the people there as well. So I don't know. You know, I'm hoping they did send more firefighters in that area. So now there's about 1,500 firefighters in that area. And hopefully they get it under control. Today, the winds are supposed to be between 30 and 35 there, though. So it's not helping them. And then this winter, probably, I want to say in February, me and the family, I live with my daughter and son-in-law and the 3 grandchildren. We went to Red River, which is in New Mexico. And it was so sad to go up there because there was a lot of dead trees. I mean, a lot of dead trees. I never seen it like that. And so, you know, I said, man, you know, somebody's got to come up here and clear all these dead trees because it's not good, especially if there's a fire. And New Mexico is desert area. They consider it desert. So there's not a lot of moisture in that area. There's not a lot of moisture in that area, and it doesn't rain that much. I mean, you know, in the snowy weather, we would get, you know, a good portion of the snow, and it would stay a while because it's so far in the mountains, you know, and the other mountains there's so many mountains there that it kind of shades the area. So there's not a lot of direct sunlight in that area sorry, I'm just measuring this, trying to figure it out. There's not a lot of moisture in that area to help the fires. It's considered desert country, so it is dry. It's very dry there. So I'm just praying for all the people there in New Mexico that are affected by the fire. I mean, you know, the community are coming together, but it's just really, really a sad thing. I personally haven't lived there since I left high school, and honestly, I won't ever live in New Mexico again because it just wasn't my cup of tea. It just was so different from living in the city because we've always lived in the city. You know, we lived in different states, but it's always been in the city. And we were so shell-shocked when we moved there because there wasn't running water there. There's still, you know, well, I think now there's running water, yeah. But you have to pay for it yourself. You have to pay for the maintenance people to go up there and put the tubes in the ground, or to make your house have water. So it's really expensive. So the people there that have water, they had to pay for that all themselves. So there is water. But when we moved there, there was no water. There was no inside toilet. So can you imagine teenagers having to use an outhouse? Oh my goodness. That was not cool. And it was shocking. I mean, it was so shocking. We weren't used to that at all. But we survived, and us girls moved out. No one has went back to live there again, but we would go back to see my mom and brother. My mom doesn't live there anymore. She lives here in Texas. And so, you know, it's very difficult, though, to see them people suffering because, like I said, they don't have a lot of money. It's very poor community, very rural. But I would say the people there do care for each other. They'll help you out in a minute, you know, and they'll give you the shirt off your back. So I'm glad that they're getting help. I don't understand why Biden took so long in calling a state of emergency for them. They definitely are going to need help because they don't have the money to rebuild. So they're going to need government assistance or donations or Habitat for Humanity. They're going to need help. And, you know, that's what I pray for. I pray that they do get the help they need to rebuild and, you know, try and go back to a normal life. So that's what I have to say about that fire. But I haven't been to the Chacoan area or Mora area, I would say, for about at least 5 years. So it's been a while. It's been a minute since I was there. And, you know, I have cousins that live in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and, you know, they're teachers and stuff. They had to evacuate too. Some of them are in Albuquerque now. So it's really sad. I mean, you know, these people are in a hardship right now. It's terrible. So just keep them in your prayers, and let's hope that these brave men and women who are fighting the fire are able to contain it, you know, and bring it down. But from what I understand, the fire was started by some forest ranger who decided to light a fire because there was too many dead trees and they wanted to clear the dead trees. Well, that was a silly idea because it's so dry there. It's absolutely dry. Like I said, it's really desert area. It's so dry, and that's what happened. That's what happened with the Galena's fire. And I'm not sure what happened with that second fire because I know the two fires merged. I'm not sure how this other fire started. So I don't know that history of it. But I don't know what's going to happen to this guy who decided to let's burn the trees and cause, you know, one of the worst fires in the nation at this time. I don't know if anything is going to happen to him because in those areas, there's, you know, a lot of people are related, you know, cousins, aunts, uncles, you know, everybody's kind of related in a way. So I don't know if they're going to say it was a mistake, maybe give him restitution. You know, like he'll have to pay some type of restitution or probation. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So, it's just terrible, though, that that's happening to such a poor community. Okay, sorry about that. I had to count these little beads on this side to make sure that the sides are even. So anyway, that was life, you know, to do grocery shopping. You had to go, like I said, again, if you want to do big grocery shopping, they do have a little country store there that has some stuff, but of course it's a little country store, so it's expensive. So you would have to work your way up to Taos or Las Vegas, New Mexico to do any type of big buying. Or, you know, to buy clothes. You had to go to Taos or Las Vegas. So it's very, very rural. Very, very rural. But I want to go back there after the fires, after everything's calmed down, to see how it's changed, how it looks. In my own opinion, I don't think that it's going to reach Chacoan. I think the reason why they had to evacuate, though, is the smoke is so heavy and it's hard to breathe, you know, and it's not good for your health to breathe in all that stuff. So I think that's probably why they had to evacuate, more so than being a threat to the fire. The fire is in Cleveland, but it still has to go through the little town of Holman, and it would kind of have to switch directions, you know, to go up north. It would have to move north in order to go to Chacon. So right now it's not moving, you know, it's not going in that direction. So, you know, they're still at least 15 miles or so between that fire and Chacon. So I honestly don't think it's going to reach Chacon. I'm just going to pray that it doesn't. I think they're going to be able to get it under control before it even goes to that level, because they did send some more firefighters from, you know, different states, and so, you know, they're all trying to combat this crisis here. So Biden finally declared a state of emergency. People are disappointed with the governor there at New Mexico, because the governor, to them, they feel the governor isn't addressing the fires and just kind of, you know, overlooking the situation, not really giving people hope or, you know, giving them any type of guidance, you know, as far as, yeah, we'll help you out, or, you know, but, you know, words are words. We've seen it all before where, you know, people say, yeah, we'll help you rebuild, and then nothing. They don't get help. But these people, they seriously do not have money. They are poor farmers, ranchers, retirees. They don't have a lot of money. A lot of them, their properties not insured. They're not insured. If they lose their house, they lose everything. You know, their house isn't insured. It may be paid off, but it's not insured. And so they won't get anything at all if they lose their stuff. So I don't know. It's just so bad. It's really, really sad. And in my whole history of knowing Chacon, you know, when I was a kid, visiting them, you know, my grandparents in Chacon when we lived in other states in the cities, I've never known Chacon to have a fire in that area. There's been, you know, fires around it. There was a fire a year or two ago that, you know, was, you know, got into some property in Chacon, but it was coming from the other side of the mountain through the Taos area, you know. And but as far as Chacon actually burning up itself, that was the closest it's ever been as far as burning up. So I don't know. It's just really crazy. My brother's in the same situation. He doesn't have money. You know, he's a retired vet on disability. And I could tell you right now, he does not have money to rebuild. He's staying on the property. He's staying in my mom's home. But he doesn't have time. My mom's home is very, very old. It's a trailer home, so, you know, I don't even know if she has it insured. I kind of doubt it. But the trailer is so old. It's really old. He needs to replace it now anyway. So I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen. But just keep the people in mind. You know, send them prayers. And, you know, just hope everybody survives this fire. Some people have already lost property and animals, livestock. And it's a really hard deal. Okay, let me count these bracelets again. Okay, so that's what I have to say about New Mexico and my experience with that area. But I really think they'll stop it before it gets even to Holman, even before it goes up to the mountain, up towards Taos. I think they're going to stop it. That they will stop it before then. So that's what's happening in my world. And my brother just wants to stay by his property to see what's happening. You know, he doesn't want to come out this far to Texas, because I think a lot of them, you know, they're staying in shelters because they want to stay closer to home. What do you think? Is this too big? Or is it my wrist too small? I'll leave it like that. I think I'll just leave it like that. A big bracelet. I don't know. It's kind of big though. I mean, you would have to have a really big wrist. But look at that. See? I don't know. What do you think? You think I should leave it like this? Or should I cut it down some? I mean, I know everybody's wrist isn't the same. I think I'll probably leave it like this for the people whose wrist is bigger. Okay, so right now I'm the only one at home because my daughter and son-in-law went to Dumas to volunteer to do some community service, and they helped, you know, the older generation, the older folks clean up the yard. And it was organized through where my son and daughter work. So the children are there. I didn't go. Yes, I know that's terrible, terrible on my part that I didn't go. But they had to be there by 7:30 in the morning. And everybody in this household knows I am not a morning person. I am definitely not a morning person. So even when I go to work, I don't get up early. I mean, I don't have to be to work till 9 a.m. Texas time. I work 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. So at least I get a little bit more time before I could go to work. But work is different, you know. I'll get up about 7. I'll get up about 7. And then usually I comb my granddaughter's hair and put a coffee pot, you know, make some coffee in my coffee pot, take a shower, start my day. But work is different because you have to go to work. It's not an option. You can't sleep in. But on weekends, yeah, I like to stay up later and do, you know, my reading or do other stuff. So I normally don't even fall asleep until, geez, wow, I hate to admit this, but probably till like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I definitely sleep in on Saturday. Sunday, I don't stay up that late because I don't like to be exhausted on Monday. The next morning, you know, I want to get some decent sleep on Sunday because I don't want to be tired on Monday. So really, Friday night is my day that if I want to stay up all night, I can stay up all night. But Sunday, yeah, I do have a bedtime. I don't want to stay up any later than 12 midnight because I need to get some decent sleep because I don't want to be too tired because I stayed up 2 days in a row real late and then be tired on Monday. So, yeah, I think it looks all right. I think it looks all right. Let me go ahead and cut this. I had to sharpen these scissors because they weren't that sharp. They still aren't. Make sure it stays after that. Good, good, good. So here it is. Here's the bracelet. Oops. There it is. I like it. I think I'm going to make another one. Maybe a wooden one or something. What do you think? What do you think of this bracelet? Okay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on my show. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.